Hey YouTube, so it's Friday, March 4th. It's been a week, well it's been 5 days since my girl left. And it's been a couple of days since I was over here and installed the power steering lines. So I still have not heard back from them on this line. So I actually just sent them another message like 5 minutes ago. So hopefully I'll hear back from them here pretty soon. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much going on over here. I'm having some issues with the 97, and it's having some steering issues. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's having some shifting issues and not wanting to shift sometimes, and sometimes it shifts hard. And so I'm not even too sure what's going on with the 97 right now. So I think what I'm gonna do is I worked like almost 60 hours this week. I actually had time to work some overtime since I don't have to rush home and watch Shaylee, which don't get me wrong, I love Princess. I do. She's my baby girl. But I have more time. So I worked a lot of overtime. I'm gonna have a fat ass check this week, or well, next week. So next week, whenever I get paid, I'm gonna go out to the salvage. I'm gonna pull another engine for the '06 since it just needs an engine, and then that way I can put the engine in there. I can start daily in that, and then all I gotta do is just swap the insurance, and then I can pull the engine out of this for the Grand Am, and then probably pull the exhaust back off this and throw it back on the '06 and some other shit. But for now, that's pretty much the goal and the plan. So I don't know what I'm gonna do over the next week. I mean, like I said, there's not really too much left I can do over here except maybe, jack up the ass end and drop the tank and do that stuff. But man, I got so much crap back here. I don't even know how I'm gonna get in here and jack this thing up. And if you ever try to jack one of these up from the ass end, it's a pain getting around that exhaust onto that cross member there. So still not too sure what I'm going to do just yet on that. I was kind of hoping to wait till after I got this thing pulled out of here, and then I could jack it up and change the pump. But like I said, it is what it is. So yeah, like I said, not really too much I can get on this. I'm still waiting for the outer tie rods and a couple other little things. I'm still waiting for the fuel pressure regulator and the pulleys. So I don't know, hopefully I can get some stuff figured out, but for now, this is just sitting here. So I know I might go over and try to make some progress on the Grand Dam and maybe start pulling that subframe out and moving some stuff around over there, trying to make some room, because I need to get subframe out of the Grand Dam so I can have that bracket cut off, and I'm just going to have it welded on to my NA or my just regular automatic subframe, and then that way I'll still have the one mount, and then it's just going to be pulling the engine out of here and bolting it up to the trans and getting it set in place and just make sure everything's going to fit correctly. And then once this engine's out, I'll tear it all down and clean it all up, same as I did this one, and I'll put the NIC cam and the other double roller and the new valve springs. I'll go through and I'll have everything done. I'm going to take those heads to the machine shop also. That way I can just be 100% for sure, know that they're good to go. And because once I pull the valve springs off, I just don't want to have no issues. I don't want to have no misfires. I just want to be certain and positive that everything's going to be going how it's supposed to, and it's going to run well and not have any issues. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I did bring the radio. I never installed the radio out of the '06 in my girl's car, which I'm actually really happy about. So I brought it over here with my original dash kit out of the '06, so it'll bolt right in here. And then I got that GXP cluster, and then this is the mileage, the DIC thing, you know, it only has 141 or 142,000 miles. This is the one that was in my '06 whenever it got backed into, and I thought the insurance was going to total it, so I kept it and put one with like 200,000 miles in, which actually hurt me in the long run because they gave me a lot less money. But it is what it is. I got a good payout for my car for only buying it for 150 bucks. It was a really good, it was a win-win for me. So, but yeah, that's all I got going on right now. So I guess I'm gonna just put this shit back in here since I can't really do nothing. And I don't know, I'll catch you guys maybe tomorrow. Probably gonna come over here and work on the Grand Dam some. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, so the seller on eBay messaged me back and told me to start a return, and they would send me a return label. So I've got the line back off and got it packaged up. It's sitting on top of the 97. I also sent him a picture of the original one and how it comes in. I mean, there's just no way. That other one, it comes like way up here and it doesn't curve over. Like right here, it comes straight up like this and wants to come in like way back over here instead of over here. And I ran it exactly like how this one is. And I mean, you can see exactly how it is, how it comes up. The other one was wanting to go like around the boot, and I mean, it was just way, way different. So I'm not sure if they're going to send me a replacement or if they're just going to give me a refund. So I'm waiting for them to respond back now. But yeah, I'm just, eBay said they're going to send me a return shipping label by the 7th. So it's still like 3 days before I can even ship it back. And so, but yeah, that's one other update. And then I just kind of threw the axles in. They're not tightened down or anything yet, and they're not in. I just got them up here so they're not sitting in the back. And I've got that one sitting over there as well, same way. One thing I did notice is, so on this one, oh yeah, see, that wasn't on all the way. Yeah, I thought on one side, I thought the bracket was in the wrong spot. No, it's still the right spot. Okay. I don't know, maybe that was on the 06, or maybe it's on the 97. I don't know, I could have swore I seen a bracket was in the wrong spot, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just tripping. Okay, well, never mind on that. Alright, y'all, well, that's all I got for tonight. So I'm going to get this stuff picked up, and I'll see you guys over here tomorrow. Hey, YouTube. Alright, so it's Saturday. I'm over here at the Grand Dam storage. So I got out the drill and trying to find my other drill bits. But what I'm working on right now is drilling out these holes for these bolts. So whenever these are in the mount and this is lined up, they're going to go all the way to the end right there. So I've got to drill that one out all the way down. And then the one for here is it bottoms out right there. And the one down here, it bottoms out about the same spot. So I've got to get all these drilled in about that far. But the tip off the drill bit is broke, so it's not really working that great. So I'm trying to find some other drill bits. So, but that's what I'm working on right now. So I was wanting to drop this subframe out of here, and I want to get this transmission out of here. And there's still just a lot of bullshit with the cooler lines, and you know, there's just a lot of bullshit, and I don't really have anywhere to attach the chain to the cherry picker to pull this out the top. And I don't have any jack stands because all 6 of my jack stands are being used right now. I've got 2 under the 07 pre and the other 4 under the subframe, the engine and trans. So I have a jack, but I have no jack stands right now. So I could jack this car up, but I can't drop the subframe because I can't sit on jack stands. So yeah, not really a whole lot I can do on that today. But it's alright, so I'm making do. I'm going to work on this transmission and try to get this rear mount to get those bolt holes drilled out so I can get this rear mount mounted on there. And I've got to figure out something to do with the front mount because it's just completely different. And then I have one of the older style mounts. It might be over at the 07 pre-storage in this area, but I have another one of the original mounts, like what I had on the original engine, and I don't know if it'll bolt on here, but I'm gonna try to mock it up and see if I can maybe get that to go on there. But even if not, it's okay. I just want to make some progress over here today. I want to get some stuff done, and I haven't worked on this thing in a while. So yeah, like I said, right now I'm just gonna continue. I'm gonna find my other drill bits, and I'm gonna keep drilling out these 3 holes and try to get these 3 bolts to thread in to this transmission. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, so I've got the rear mount for the trans on. So I found my other drill bits, and this is the one that I used. It was perfect, and so I pretty much just drilled them out. And then I had to take the bolts, and I had to cut about 3/4 of an inch to an inch off the end of all 3 bolts. That's about how much I cut off of all of them, and just used the metal cutoff wheel on the grinder. Got them all cut off, and before I cut them, I just took the bolts, and once I drilled the hole, and I just kind of started it by hand and used the impact and ran it in some to where it started threads, and then you use my extendable ratchet here and just kind of manned it in and threaded the threads in with the ratchet and the bolt instead of using a tap and die, because I ain't got a tap and die set. And yeah, so I do need to replace this bushing, but at least now all 3 of the holes are drilled and tapped, and the mount is on there. It's solid. So made a little bit of progress over here. So now I just got to clean up all these metal shavings, and that's done. So next thing I want to do, I guess I'm going to get this subframe out of here, and I'm not really I kind of want to test fit it and just make sure that the rear mount lines up with this here, and make sure the side mount sits right on this bracket. And so what I'm going to do is, once I get this subframe out with the trans and everything off, so my buddy that I worked on that Monte Carlo for, he's gonna cut this whole bracket off here, and he's gonna weld it onto this subframe. But what I've got to do is I've got to get this subframe out, and then have both the subframes sitting next to each other. And my subframe, it already has, you know, all these brackets and everything on it still, and they're in way better condition, as you can tell. Nice and black and not rusty at all. So, but yeah, so I've got this front bracket here and the rear bracket back there, and it's all the exact same bracket as this. It's just a different mount that bolts to the trans. So if I get both this subframe and this subframe, have them sit next to each other, and Garrett's going to cut that bracket off. He's going to weld it on this one, but before he welds it, we're going to cut it off, bolt it to the trans, and then kind of set it on there and just kind of test fit it and see where exactly it's going to sit. I know it's going to butt up right to this, the lower control arm slot here for the lower control arm bushing to go in. So I mean, if it's going to butt up, it can only go back on to that subframe one way, which is the exact same way that it's on this one, because they're the exact same subframe except for this one bracket. Other than the bracket, everything's identical. So that's probably going to be the easiest and best route for me. I mean, the easiest would just be to use this subframe, but with how nasty and rusty and everything it is, and how nice the one I have in the car is, because this is a rust-free car. Like, there's like no rust on this car, and it's just really good condition. It came from Kansas, and I mean, it's just been a really good, solid car. So I want to try to keep what I have in here, because I know it's good, and I know it's not rusted, and I know everything on it I've already replaced. Like, it's already got a new steering rack, it's already got new axles. I mean, I've already replaced almost everything in here once or twice. Like, I've already done an engine swap and then 2 transmission swaps in this car before I decided to do the swap. I mean, I've had this thing apart a few times, and everything under here is in really good condition. So I just want to kind of want to try to keep everything that's in the car as original as possible. I just need to add that bracket. So that's my goal. Really, right now, there's not really a whole lot left I can do. I mean, I could probably pull this subframe out and test fit the trans on it. But I mean, other than that, the only other stuff I could really do is probably start messing with the shifter and, you know, just trying to get some of this stuff out of the engine bay. I do need to install the slave master cylinder, or the clutch master cylinder. And yeah, but I mean, I'm making a lot of progress. I'm happy with the progress. I am. So I need to get over here and work on this thing more often. So I'm going to try to get some more stuff done. I'm not really too sure what I want to do yet. But I'm going to figure it out, and I'll give you guys another update. So y'all stay tuned. You guys, so I've got the transmission sitting on the subframe out of the parts car. Rear mount is bolted on. I just got this bolt kind of holding it up into place. The side mount's just kind of sitting over where it needs to go. It's not sitting all the way down in the holes. And yeah, this front mount, I mean, it will kind of have that one bolt hole would line up, but I'm not really going to be able to do anything because it goes in here about this far, about a ½ inch, and then it stops. And I mean, if I go any further than that, then I'm going to cut through where the starter goes. So I can't really do anything with that bolt there, and there's nowhere for the other two bolt holes to go. There's just nothing there. So I don't know how I'm going to do the front mount, if I even do the front mount. But, I mean, that's about how it was supposed to sit. So as long as the engine's in and bolted up over there, then this will hold everything. And then if I can get the dog bones, if I can get this dog bone and that dog bone to mount up here somewhere like this, then I could probably just make the dog bone where, even if I just use this one over here and not run the one on the driver's side, you know, that one that's on there now, if I just run this one over here and can get it to connect to the engine mount, which I don't know, I think it would be a little more over. So I know it's going to be a pain. It's going to be kind of a process. But if I can make it work, then that's what I'm going to try to do. So, I'm still making some progress though. Not a whole lot, but I'm getting stuff done. So, I'm not even going to mess with the axles right now. I want to mess with trying to get this subframe out of here, or at least get this trans out of here. I mean, there's just not a whole lot I can really do at the moment, so I'm not really too sure how I want to go about it. But, I don't know, I guess I'm probably just going to clean some stuff out and try to organize some of this stuff in here for now. And then I might start grabbing some of this, test fit the shifter boot, try to see if I can get this blue end piece off so I can try to see if I'm going to be able to use that shift knob wherever it went. Oh yeah, so up there with the new shift boot, I got that nice chrome shift knob from my buddy David. Something else I need to do, I need to swap out these wiper blade motor assembly and the wiper arms, because these, like I said, remember, these are broke, both of them, and they hit my hood when I shut my hood. I don't like that. So I mean, like I said, there's still quite a bit of stuff I've got to get done on this thing and get swapped around. So I don't know, maybe I can possibly get some stuff done on this interior. I know it's just going to be kind of a pain in the ass to get up in here. I've got the steering wheel all seat belted so it doesn't fuck up my clock spring, since the steering linkage isn't connected. Now, I don't know what I want to do yet. I know I want to get some stuff done. I just don't know what to do. So I guess for now, I'm just going to try to get all this stuff packed back here in the back. Maybe I'll scoot the car forward a little. I don't know if I'm even going to have room to do that. But I've got to get some stuff figured out because I've got so much shit back here and I just don't have enough room. And I want to be able to come over here and work on this and get to it easier. So I guess I'm going to move some stuff around and try to pack some stuff in the car and make some room, save some space, and then I'll give you guys another update. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, so I've got my grinder back out, got my gloves on. I got the subframe sitting up here. So I sent a message to Garrett, but he hasn't messaged me back yet. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this bracket off of here with this grinder and this Linux metal blade. So I just got to cut this weld up here. And then that one on the side there. This one going across the bottom. That one there. And that one there. And then this thing will be off, and I've already took pictures of it, so I know exactly the placement of it. I got it from the bottom, the side, and the top views, front view. Like, I got everything, so I know exactly where it's supposed to be lining up at on the other subframe. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing cut off, and then I'll give you guys another update. Alright y'all, so I'm starting to get this bracket off. So I started with the grinder with the Linux wheel, and I started getting this cut out, and the wheel just dulled out and it wasn't cutting, so I swapped it out to that DeWalt flapper disc cutting wheel, and it was going. It started doing it. It was just cutting way too big, and it was just kind of grinding it and taking the weld off, but it wasn't going behind the weld between the bracket and the subframe itself. So what I ended up doing was I swapped it back to the Linux wheel, and I was trying to get it to cut up in between right there like this is, and I only got it just a little bit right here on this corner. And so then I used like a couple of blades on the Sawzall, and I finally got it enough to where I can get my Sawzall blade up through there, and now I've been cutting it with a Sawzall like that. So I've got it to right here, still got a ways to go, and it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass because it dips in right there for the mount, you know, right here. So I'm not going to have a whole lot of space, but I'm going to try to get this cut all the way down, and I only have one more brand new blade left. So hopefully I can get this off. But other than that, I've already got this side cut, and I've got the top piece cut. I just had to cut it right at the weld, and then I accidentally cut it a little bit right there, but no big deal. I didn't cut all the way through. So that way I'll still be able to get it welded to the top of the new subframe. And then I've got to finish cutting this side weld right here, and I've got to finish cutting the bottom right there, and then the bracket should be off. So I will keep you guys updated as soon as I get this thing off. I'm just fighting it a little bit. I thought the Linux blade was just going to slice right through it, but I guess I have used it quite a bit, so maybe it's just time for a new one. They're like $10, no big deal. But so I'm going to get back to work, Sawzall on this, and hopefully I don't burn out both of these blades before I get it off. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, the bracket is off. Here she is. So she's going to go on just like that. So man, it's off. So now I just got to clean this thing up and get all this grime and gunk and shit off of it, and kind of grind down the edges and just smooth it out some and get it cleaned up so it can be welded on. And then whenever Garrett hollers at me, then I'll be able to get this thing welded onto the subframe. So at least now I have the bracket, so now I can save some room in the storage, and I can just take this subframe back to the parts car and just throw it back up under there. And I've got a couple of the bolts. The other bolts are still back there with the parts car, so I can at least bolt it back up in place and maybe you know, like get the front wheels back on or something. I have some junk lower control arms over at the house I could throw back on it, just to kind of so it looks similar to a car and not just a pile of junk. But that way it'll at least save me some space in the storage, and I won't have that just sitting in here taking up space. I probably will take the bracket in the front. Well, actually, I'll probably leave the front one, but I'll take this rear transmount bracket for just in case if I need a spare. And I'll probably take this little plastic radiator support piece, and then the rest of that can just go back to the parts car and it can be junk. But I'm happy. I've made some good progress. Now I have everything I need to get this done. So now it's just going to be getting this up in the air on jack stands, dropping this subframe back out, getting this transmission out of my fucking way, getting the automatic axles out, because I'm not going to need those, and going from there. So yeah, it's about to start coming along really quick, and I cannot be more excited. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated and let you know what's going to go next. Alright, you guys, so I went over to the 07 pre-storage, and I used my old jack and jacked up the engine and trans on the subframe, and stole the two front jack stands, and I just put a head underneath it, an old NA cylinder head, and just to hold it up, so that way I could get this thrown on jack stands. So now it's on jack stands, so I'm going to get this, both the front wheels off and try to start getting those axle nuts out, and the two strut bolts that bolt the strut to the knuckle right there. So I need to get both of those out, and then that way I can rock the knuckle forward once I get the axle nut out, and I'll be able to pull both the axles. And then once I get the axles pulled, then I'll pretty much be ready to drop the subframe. So I've already, the steering linkage is already disconnected. So I just got to get these wheels off and get the struts disconnected from the knuckles, and I can drop this out. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated as I make some more progress. Alright, y'all, so I got both the front wheels off. Everything's looking nice. Okay, so I forgot, so this is my side mount, so I'm going to have to take this bolt out here, and that's holding the transmission in. So I guess really, I don't even have to take these out yet, the axle nuts. I'm going to try to go ahead and get them off with the impact beforehand. But I mean, really, I could just drop the whole subframe out with the trans, using the trans as my mounting point for the jack, and I could put the jack in the middle with a piece of wood or with that metal bar right there, and just have it going across, and put the jack on it to hold it up, take all the subframe bolts out, and I could undo the knuckles from the struts and take my calipers off because I don't want to undo my lines, and I could drop the whole subframe. Now, there is a brake line that runs down the middle of the subframe right there. You can see it. And it runs down. And it runs around this side. And then up over to this side. This caliper. So, I have to be very careful. It's not clipped in anymore, but since the transmission's on over there, it'll kind of hit. So I have to watch it as I drop. But man, really, this shouldn't even be too difficult. As long as I have something long enough to go across as a brace, then it shouldn't be difficult at all. So I'm going to look around and see what I got that I can use as a brace for the subframe. And then I'm going to try to drop this subframe out of here. So y'all stay tuned and keep you guys updated. You guys, so I made some more progress. So over on the passenger side, I've got my strut bolts out. I tried to get the axle nut out. It's just fucking on there. So I'll deal with that afterwards. What I end up having to do is I just took the caliper off, and then I just put the bolts back in here so I won't lose them. And then I just zip tied the caliper up to the strut. And then I put my strut bolts back in the bottom of the strut so I don't lose those. And so now this side's ready to drop once I get the actual subframe bolts out. So now I've come around to this side and I'm about to start getting this side out. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then afterwards I'll be ready to start getting these subframe. Well, I'll have to get this trans mount bolt out because it's to the car. And then I got to maneuver that brake line around the transmission so that I can drop the subframe and not rip that brake line out. But other than that, it's almost ready to come out. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated once I get this side apart. Alright y'all, so I've got every bolt out. I've got this side all disconnected, calipers hung up. I have all the subframe bolts. I got that one there is out. That one there, and the two little ones there. Got the bolt out here on the trans mount. Then I got this side. You already seen this was disconnected, and then I got the one through the control arm and the two over here. So now the only thing that's holding me up is that brake line right there. See how the trans is sitting on that mount and it's going to trap the brake line. So I've got to get that, like, lift up the trans a little bit in the front and move that brake line out. But man, it's ready for me to lower this down some. Oh, and I got to pull that transmission cooler line off. I forgot about that. Good thing I caught it. But yeah, here's all my subframe bolts. Just kind of keeping them picked up and out of the way. Alright. There's a nut right there on the cooler lines. Let me get this off of here. There it goes. Oh, alright. Now the train cooler lines are disconnected. Alright. So now it's just that brake line. Here this hose. Oh, that went the bracket. Alright, well I got it lifted up some. It looks like I'm getting caught on a bolt or something. But alright, I'm gonna get this brake line untangled from this transmission, and then I'm gonna start lowering this down a little bit, and I'll give you guys another update here in just a few. So give me just a minute. All right, y'all. Well, it's starting to come down, so it's lowering. I've got the line all freed up, so it won't be in the way. And that's the AC line, so it won't be in the way. So, it's coming. It's dropping out. So, I keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so, made a little more progress. So, I gotta drop down a little bit more. The line is unstuck. And look at here. It's gonna be perfect. So as soon as Garrett gets some time, he's gonna come over here and clean this bracket up and weld it on for me. And then I'm probably just gonna paint over the welds so that they don't rust or anything. But man, that right there is perfect. I'm super stoked. So yeah, this is awesome. So that's going to be perfect. But yeah, this thing's dropping out. As you can see, the steering linkage was already disconnected. I never hooked it back up. So yeah, this thing just needs to drop some more, and she's coming down. I do believe I need to unbolt this bracket here from the subframe. It's 213 millimeters, because that's for the brakes, and all the brake lines are connected to that. So I need to unbolt that real quick, and then I'll continue dropping the subframe out. So I'll give you guys another update here in a few minutes. Alright, y'all, so now the subframe is out. It's completely out. It's sitting on the jack, but it is 100% out of the car. So now you can really see, that's crazy. Like, I didn't even drive on these very long. These are brand new lower control arms and everything, and brand new steering rack. And they had about a year and a half of driving. But yeah, it's definitely leaked some stuff. It's had some issues, but it is out, so I'm happy. So now I've got to, and I'm probably not going to do any more tonight. I'm probably just going to pull the handle out of the jack, and that way I can shut the door. Sure, I might be able to shut the door with it. Oh yeah, I can shut the door. So now I'm just going to have to get everything else put back in here and just set it around the handle and pick all the tools up. And I'll probably just come back over here tomorrow during the day, and that way I have daylight and I'm not trying to use this flashlight in my phone to see what I'm doing. But making a lot of progress. And then now, since the subframe's out, if I can get this pulled out from under the car tomorrow, I can get that other transmission off and get the axles and everything out. And then once I do that, I can actually pull that subframe all the way out. I can hopefully have Garrett come by and weld the bracket on. And then that way the bracket will be welded on. That's going to be so fucking perfect. Like, I can't get enough of that. That just turned out too perfect right there. So, super stoked on that. So now I'll at least be able to use this subframe, and then once he comes and welds the bracket on for me, then I'll be able to set the transmission in place and get the engine mount and the rear trans mount in place, and that'll be holding the trans. And then once I get the engine this next coming weekend, whenever I get paid, I'm going to the salvage. I'm pulling an engine for the 06. And then once I do the engine swap in the 06, and then I'm going to start daily in the 06 again, because this one's having some issues. And like last night, the power steering was whining because the boot came back off, so it leaked fluid. And so I stopped at Quick Trip and popped the hood and added some power steering fluid and filled it back up, and it was almost, very empty. It was way down there. I put about half a quart in there and filled it up. And then as soon as I started the car, it just started turning left by itself, sitting still. Like, no gas or nothing. Just started the car and it just started and just started turning left. And so I think the pressure, I think some of the seals internally on the rack are blown out just from it been leaking. And I mean, it's been leaking since I got the car, so it's been having issues. That's why I put the new tie rods and everything on it, trying to fix it. I think it's just a rack issue. It's a very common problem on these cars. So, but once I get the 06 done, I'm just going to pull this engine out, and this is the engine I'm going to use for the Grand Am. So I was going to use this engine, but I don't want to chance it. Like, I know 100% for sure this engine is good because it's been my daily for the last 3 or 4 months. So I'm just going to take what I can back off of this engine. Pretty much a Gen 5 blower, the lower intake manifold. I'm going to use the newer style alternator bracket. I don't know if I'm going to use this one or the one I have that I was going to put on here. Taking the headers with the catless downpipe. I'm going to be keeping the MSD coils that are on the 97 now. These are brand spanking new plug wires. I'm pretty sure these have brand spanking new spark plugs also. And then I'm going to be using these mounts to bolt on there. And that's pretty much it. And I don't know, I think there might be a new 180 thermostat in here. And then I might use these heads because I know these heads are 100% good. And they're already painted red and cleaned up. And the other set that's on the car, I never took off or cleaned them. So they're still just dirty rust color. But everything else, the valve covers and everything else up above that looks nice and pretty and is painted. But so I don't know if I'm going to use these heads or those heads, but both sets are good. But either way, I'm having these LS valve springs. They're 102 pound valve springs. So I'm going to have those valve springs and the brand new retainers put on. And then that way they'll have stronger springs, and they're stronger than the 90s. So I'm just going to roll those. It's going to get the NIC cam and one of those 2 double rollers and the head studs. So like everything over there it's going to get. It's getting the headers, you know. So I don't know, it'll be good. I know that this engine 100% for sure is good. So I want to use this engine. So as soon as I get the 06 done and start dailying it, I'll pull this engine out and get everything done, get that flywheel on there and torqued down and Loctited, and get the clutch bolted on, and it's going to come together pretty quick. So like I said, I'm going to try to get over here and start getting everything done. I mean, now that I'm single, I have a lot more time after work and everything. And my ex, she did say that she's not going to keep my princess from me. So yeah, I got to go over there yesterday and see her. So I'm in a lot better spirits today. A little bit of relief, I guess. So yeah, I got pretty motivated to get over here and get some shit done and make some shit happen. So like I said, here in the next couple weeks, I'm hoping to have this thing together and everything going back in. And then it's just going to be wiring and figuring out the engine mount for this side, whether I'm going to have to use this hole or drill a couple holes, or I don't know, maybe I can use this hole and this hole. I don't know if that'll line up or not, but like I said, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to figure it out and see what I can come up with to make this work, because I want to make this work. I miss driving this car. It's been sitting in here for 2 years. 2 years at $150 a month for storage. It's pretty crazy. On top of buying everything, like, you know, $300-400 just for that transmission, like, you know, $65 or $68 or something for just for this right here. That's like almost $70. I mean, everything adds up, you know. So like I said, this has been, you know, being single for the last 3 years, going on 3.5 years. Because now I'm back to single. We were only back together for 4 months, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna probably just try to pick all this stuff up, and like I said, here in the next couple weeks, there's gonna be a lot of shit going on getting this thing together. So I'm gonna get all this stuff picked up and put in here and organized, and then I'll give you guys another update before I leave for the night. Alright, you guys, so I've got everything packed up in here. Everything's gonna clear. So I've got the tools all in there. Got the subframe loaded up and all the trash because the dumpster's back by the parts car. So I'm going to take this old subframe and the old rack and the sway bar. Since it's all junk, I'm just going to take it all back there to the parts car and just slide it under there. And I'm just going to lock all this up and go drop that shit off. And then I'm going home. And I'll catch you guys back over here tomorrow. So y'all stay tuned. I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, y'all. Subframe's dropped off at the parts car with the old rack and sway bar. So I'm not bolting it back up in there tonight. I might do it sometime tomorrow, but it's still sitting over here. trying to get it the fuck out of here. But subframe's dropped off, so I'm headed home. And I'll catch y'all back over here tomorrow. Hey YouTube, alright, it's Sunday. So I'm back over here at the Grand Dam storage. I got the engine out, got some of the crap out that I had sitting in front. Alright, so what I've got done so far is I'm trying to drop this radiator out of here. So I've got to disconnect this hose from my coolant tank. And then I've also got, I had to disconnect this line for the AC condenser. And then the only other thing is on this plastic ram air piece. It's clipped into the bumper on this plastic clip here. And then there's another one over here. And I'm pretty sure that's it. And then it's just bolted onto the back of the radiator up there. So I need to pull this clip out and pull this clip out. And this whole plastic piece should slide out. And I should be able to pull the whole radiator and AC condenser and fans and everything as one piece. And then that'll give me a lot more clearance in here to try to pull this out the front on the jack without having to lift the car up any further. So that's what I'm about to do right now. And so y'all stay tuned and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Y'all, so I've got the radiator and everything's out. Like I said, it was just those two clips. Whole thing come out. I went ahead and I just had to lift up that deal there for the brake lines because it was just kind of catching in here and caught on this bracket, and then the front bumper caught on the shifter bracket. But man, I've got this thing out. My buddy Garrett's on his way right now, so all I got to do now is wait for him to get here, and he's going to clean this subframe up and get this bracket welded on here for me. And I cannot be happier. So, y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update once my buddy Garrett gets here. Alright y'all, so Garrett's over here. He's doing some welding. So stoked. Making progress. One less thing to get done. So I'm going to let him do his thing, and then I'll show you after he gets done what it looks like. Look at the Monty. He's done some more work to it since I did some work to it. He got him another wheel, got him another fender, got another bumper. Or is this the same bumper? Yeah. It's the same bumper. Well, it ain't too bad. Just a little bit. Fits good. Did some little exhaust work on it. Sounds pretty good. But looky there. The Monty lives. How long did you say that thing was down for? Like 8 months or something?
Yeah.
8 months. And he gave up on it, and look, now she's daily again. I'm gonna let him do his thing over there, and man, super stoked. So yeah, I'll give you guys another update once he gets that bracket welded on there, and then I can start doing some test fitting with this trans and having that side mount and the rear mount. I'm excited. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Pretty good. Alright you guys. Garrett just left. So he got this welded up for me. Turned out really good. I mean, you could definitely see some splatter and everything, but he stood on it. It'll hold. He welded the bottom side across too, so it's nice and strong. So I'm happy with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this rear mount disconnected and get that heat shield off so I can get the trans off. I got to disconnect the axles. I'm gonna go ahead and get the axles pulled out and just get this trans off of here, and then probably just go ahead and try to set that one in place for now and get it test fitted up on there. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, so I got the broken automatic transmission off of the subframe. So if you remember yesterday, I could not get the axle nuts off, so I'm probably going to have to use the vice grips and vice grip on here, and hopefully it'll hold good enough so I can get it off that way. So if not, I don't know. But yeah, I'll figure out something to get those axles off. But for now, what I want to do is I just want to grab that transmission and just set it on here to where the mount goes through the bracket and sits here, and I can get this all screwed in and bolted in and see how it holds itself up. So I'm going to move this clutch and stuff out of the way, and I'm going to grab that transmission and set it down on here, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright y'all, so I've got the 5-speed sitting in place. It's sitting perfectly in its engine mount. Got it sitting in the rear. So, like I said before, that other mount, I have it bolted back on the other 5-speed out of the parts car. Because the front mount, normally this would be a threaded hole, but I can't put anything there. And there's just nowhere for the other two to go. So I'm not going to be running this front mount. So I'm going to end up taking these off, this whole bracket off, and that way it's just out of the way. And it's just 3 18s on the bottom side right there, 18 millimeters. And I'm still going to have to figure out something to get these axles off. I don't know what I'm going to do with them just yet, but I'll figure that out. And I've got to get these old shifter lines off that the salvage yard cut where I got the trans from. But not bad. I'm happy with the progress. So I'm going to keep working at this thing. I'm going to try to get these axles off of here. I'm going to grab the vice grips, and hopefully I can break those axle nuts free and get those axles out so I can get these 5-speed axles in. And man, it's coming along great. I'm super excited. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, well my buddy David hit me up about 10 minutes ago and said it started raining over at the house. And so I started picking up my stuff, and sure enough, it's raining. And so I've got everything in here except for this old trans, which I'm just got to drag it to right here. So I guess that's going to be all for today, because the weather's saying it's supposed to rain all night and all day tomorrow. So at least I made a lot of progress. I got the trans out, or the subframe out, got the old trans off, got the bracket welded on for the 5-speed, got the 5-speed set in place. Like, I mean, I just had to shove it back under the car real quick. But man, I'm very happy with the progress. So you guys stay tuned, and I guess I'll come back over here tomorrow after I get off of work, if we even work. I know it's supposed to rain, like I said, all day, so it might be a couple of days, but I'm happy with the progress. So y'all make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video, and I'll catch you guys next time.